The 17th Annual Bill Rudy Rotary Central Science Fair coming soon, Saturday, April 13th at the Arc, Kamala Bay. Plan for it? Shape up your projects now. Open to students across all schools in Cayman. Bring the children, bring the family. Help inspire the next generation scientist. The Bill Rudy Rotary Central Science Fair, an intersection of young people in science. Rotary Central, creating hope in the world.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Bienvenido, mi amigos and mi amigas. Thank you so much for joining us on this wonderful Wednesday as we invite you to be a part of our Talk Today. 12:30, Miss Erin Kaufman, as part of the Alex Pantons Foundation's Kids Helpline, will come in and have a chat. And then 1 o'clock, the one and only Mario Rankin will be our guest as we mix things up a bit, talk about much. So invite you to be a part of this discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard.
And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. It certainly is an honor and a privilege, and I recognize that sometimes, as a friend reminded me earlier, you may not feel the joy in your heart. You may not have the pep in your step. You may actually feel a bit disgruntled, deceived. You may actually feel a bit despondent, and you perhaps have been denied. But, don't give up. If you press on and persevere, you shall see that it pays dividends. So share with us. As Mr. Art reminded us, he's going to be on hiatus until next Wednesday. I realized this was the week where for some it's a solemn day as we go into Good Friday, and it's a somber, sobering reminder of what society can truly, benefit if we look with a spiritual consciousness to the sacrifice of others. It's not about religion and religiousness and the religiosity of much of what we try. It's about relationship. And I will not, I endeavor never, ever, as my friend says, you should never say never, but I will never, ever, look at something and consider that I'm an expert. I certainly will look with an inquiring mind and a zeal to learn, that propensity for knowledge. So share with us, not just your Easter plans, but maybe what is burdening you. It could be because of her age. She shares, she's into her 9th decade of life. And thank God for a very spirited mind, a very able body. But she says, as she's seen the last few decades unfold, she's seen a growing disquiet in Cayman. And being, as she shared, still agile and able to afford to travel and to be received by friends and family from afar as they visit, she does the same. But there's a changed space and place. And as she shared her stories, I think the only thing that we regret at that point in time, recognizing that we should and thinking someone would, but never did, we should have recorded what she was sharing, because she was just, sat there swinging in her hammock. It was just a lazy afternoon. The heat, perhaps, was only abated by that intermittent breeze at times. But her words not just warmed our spirits, but caused us to reflect on our childhood of yesteryear, where we ran freely, where the dogs would bark but didn't bite, where they were not bred, to fight, but to protect and to guard, where a community saw ill and a misbehavior and it corrected it, where in absence of prominent policing and security, there was still safety and civility. But she says that time has passed. And why? There was a young gentleman earlier as I was doing physio, and if he listens or if he has someone who relays, I recognize, as he shared, somewhat reluctantly, I was very deliberate and conscious in extracting from him what transpired, not because I'm a nosy person, but because hopefully in a thought I said to him, in the half a decade that he's been here, despite visiting as a child, look at the changes that have taken place in just over 5 years. Now, a fellow, much more eloquently, much more informed, much more polite and diplomatic, he would have said it in a better way, but let me say it this way, as we interpret it. He said the whole world is upside down. Everybody seems to be gone mad. There is no seemingly sense of, reasonableness and consideration, no sense of love. And we're just accepting of it. If we look at the things that are able to be generated using technology, presumably artificial intelligence, they say, as Sama says, we should work on fixing natural stupidity as we explore artificial intelligence. One of the good folks from the Cayman Enterprise today, as it's part of its special economic zone, reminded us last Monday, it's not ready to be rolled out, but yet we are adopting it. Whether it's a program where we type in something and it produces something for us, whether you are in the creative sector and you're looking at producing a commercial of sorts, it'll do it for you. Whether you are looking, as we've seen, a legal precedent, and only for it to now generate something that is completely inaccurate. So it's one thing to perhaps trust a source, but are we able and encouraged to verify it? Now, you may think, wow, what was this guy on this morning? Well, this guy is on life. And I would like for us to consider a number of things. And that is, what are we doing and not doing? What are we saying and avoiding, and why are we so inclined to do so? 949-8037, 949-6990, or you can WhatsApp, call us, WhatsApp message, WhatsApp voice note as you wish, 925-32621, and we want to hear from you. I had extended an invitation, he accepted, so Mario will join us at 1, but now let's take this call. Welcome, thank you for sharing. My friend, how are you today? Are the warm breezes blowing from the bluff just causing your brain to be so engaged?
And inspired.
And inspired, my friend.
I listened to your news early on, and one of the things that stood out was the waste in the food.
Yes.
And one of the things that I personally wrote about and did a song about was about something that had to do with hunger and the youth in Sudan, where you have 8 million people that are malnutrition, and we have the paradox then of all this waste. Isn't that just not right? With our intelligence or the lack thereof. And I'm confounded. I'm speechless. But the thing is, I have to speak for those people.
Mm-hmm.
Because youths in Sudan, they're not going to have no AI. They might never see AI in their life.
Or they may be impacted by it, don't realize it.
Can AI help them?
But does AI
we can't
impact them?
Okay. It will impact them.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't want to create, you want to create stuff that helps humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think just on a basic human right, for the youth them to have food, can AI create our world, help fix our world to help fix hunger? Because if AI can't help and we can't help as normal beings, who caused that disaster?
How can we help us, human beings?
Well, we got to let people know that people are hungry. We're letting people know that people are being bombed. We're letting people know that people are being trafficked. And I sit and eat my turtle meat and rice and beans, and, life is good enough. But I know that there is hardship going on in other parts of the world, and it's disturbing to tell the truth by Sterling.
Yeah. You see, that's why I like with you. You recognize and reflect on what we have. You share so that we'll be conscious of what transpires globally, but then you also look around and are not only grateful but gracious. So how is it then that you and a few others thankful are like that, but there are others who are so self-absorbed, self-centered, that they seemingly are conscious or oblivious to the ills and perils, trials and tribulations of others around them?
It's interesting in the time of intelligence, right? Because I will call out some people's names, but there's some big artists that are making some serious funds. And I noticed one artist the other day, in terms of music, how they donated to a particular cause. And that's good that they're doing that. But somehow I don't think something as simple as hunger, because people will be philanthropists and will donate because they will benefit,
Yeah, but that's the thing, right?
And I talk about millions of dollars just to do a concert in a tree.
Yeah, man. But philanthropy these days seems to be the next avenue of not giving as it should be, but given with an expectation of self-promotion and aggrandizement. And really no charity. It's a more similar about self-promotion.
Sudan is a reminder of Gaza. You see, we have to kill certain ills that are within our power. So if the statistics are saying we're wasting 5% of food production, okay, how that can go to youth in Sudan?
Yeah. I want to invite you, if you're so inclined, right? We're going to have a guest come in for the next half hour thereabouts. And after one sort of an open line segment with Mario Rankin, we sit and chat. He's willing to share from his insights and intellect and maybe what inspires him. And I want, if you're so inclined, give us a shout back, because I'm wondering if we can recognize what is unfolding in Cayman and see any similarities, not only in history, but even now. And ask ourselves, are we at risk of a society so changed and dissimilar that it's become unrecognizable?
That's a good call. I will do that.
Yeah, man. Listen, respect. All right. Let's pause and take a break, The man that does not think, well, let's leave it at that. Check us after the break. Stay tuned.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
The 8:12 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britke. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Hey Bobo, have you taken the pledge?
What pledge?
The Safe Drivers Pledge, to show your dedication to fostering a culture of responsible driving. Some of the accidents we have in Cayman could have been avoided simply by drivers being more vigilant behind the wheel.
You're right, Our actions behind the wheel can have serious consequences. Everyone should make a commitment to drive safely. Where can I take the pledge?
Visit gov.ky/road safety/pledge.
Thanks. I'll tell others to take the pledge too.
Let's make our roads safer together and say no more for 2024. Visit www.gov.ky/road safety for more information and to take the pledge.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us, and for just, now it's 25 minutes or thereabouts as we got to 1 p.m. The excellent company of Miss Erin Kaufman. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just, I was sharing with you that I just came from the John Gray High School, where they were having the 3rd anniversary of their RISE program, which is for, it's like an empowerment program from their young ladies in that school. And so that was really a really great start to my day.
Well, I'm glad that they have that. I'm glad that people like you were there, because it isn't only that we should have words, there needs to be actions, but there need to be words that encourage, inspire, and perhaps share with people that, hey, this is how you do it. Words of instruction and life.
Absolutely. And getting them having, I understand that they have little sessions and workshops where they get to talk about various topics and empower one another. So that's really nice that they can kind of do some practical elements as well.
Remind me at the break. I tried to do it earlier, but I couldn't find it. Now I remember what it was. I wanted to share with you a fantastic lady. She's professional. She's in a field that traditionally was sort of male dominated, that architecture, construction, engineering, that sort of thing.
Right.
And she holds her own. She's like, I like it and I'm good at it.
Why not?
Yeah. And thankfully, we have people who are able to engage in that because their surrounding environment doesn't see these roles that society consciously and unconsciously assigns.
Right.
Whether in this region or whether across the pond or North America. And that's not the norm. But for us who grew up in those environments, it's like my father would say, you think the floor will sweep itself?
Yeah.
Boy or girl.
Work together and get it done.
Get it done, right? Yeah. And I share that to say that with you, you serve as an inspiration. Here we have at the John Gray, okay, it's the high school, whatever ages they are. It's never too old to learn something. But I wonder if we are cognizant that we should start earlier with some of these I don't even want to call them soft skills, because I think that's just an unfortunate term now.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a much bigger push to understand that prevention is better than cure. And like the earlier we get in and provide resources and support to our young people, the better. So I think we're doing overall across the board a lot better in acknowledging that, and we're slowly building out those programs to support it.
Then, as we talk about, the kids, the Cayman Kids Helpline.
That's what we're here to talk about today.
I'm hopeful that every single individual, irrespective of where we are in our stage of life or age and whatever, that we understand the importance of seeking help,
right?
But also offering help.
Yeah.
As I say to people, we should never be so arrogant to be unwilling to ask for help, nor too stupid to accept help when it's genuinely offered.
Right.
So I emphasize genuinely, because for me, and it's me, it may not be the same for everybody. You can offer me something. If I don't feel the love, you can keep it.
Yeah.
And that's just me.
Yeah. I mean, and there's so many factors that go into why people are so resistant to help, right? That's probably a whole other topic in and of itself. Yeah. Let's invite a psychologist to talk about that. But I mean, I know that there are so many social, emotional, psychological factors that play into that. But, when you create more awareness, you create these safe spaces where people feel like it is safe to access that help. And to make help accessible, which is what we're hoping to do with the Kids Helpline and the launch of this initiative. Hopefully it provides another door for our young people to access.
Can I then ask, as part of the Alex Foundation, two things, what is the APF, but also what is now the Cayman Kids Helpline? Let's start there.
Okay, perfect. So yes, good afternoon, everyone. Again, let's start there.
Okay, can we get a musical intro? No.
Drum roll, please. No.
She's like, this is not a Sandra's show. She no hotkeys here.
Well, I am here representing the Alex Panton Foundation today. For those of you who do not know, the APF is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to enhance the lives of our youth by advocating for better mental health, addressing mental health amongst youth and adolescents, through advocacy, through awareness, through providing resources and education to support not only young people that are experiencing challenges with their mental health, but also their parents, their educators, caregivers, persons who have a vested interest in helping young people. So I'm really proud to be here to just share that we have now successfully launched a much anticipated program, something that has been in the works for a number of years, which is our Cayman Kids Helpline. So you may have heard of this program. It's been, we're pushing it out in the media and on social media, but it is a program that is now owned and operated by the Alex Panton Foundation. It was previously run by the Crisis Center. So some people may recall a few years ago that this was a service that was available. And big shout out to the Crisis Center for recognizing the need and launching this program. Where their focus was actually assisting young people who were experiencing abuse through domestic violence. We've taken it and kind of shifted our focus to mental health and just providing a safe space for any young person who is experiencing challenges with emotional, social, mental wellness. So our Cayman Kids Helpline, we launched with a website and an app that's available for download, for free download. On our website and app, we house some content that is on a range of different mental health topics. So you might want to come on and read about bullying or feeling sad, feeling anxious, and it has tips for different age groups or categories that you can read and get some tips and a better understanding of some of those challenges. And then as well, we now have successfully launched our phone line and text line service. So young people up to the under the age of 18, because there's also a service for those 18 and older. So we're focusing for under the age of 18. can call in to our helpline and or can text through our website. We actually have a chat feature that's on our website too. It allows you to be completely anonymous. And what we're really promoting is that no problem is too big or too small. Our lines are manned by trained volunteers. We can talk a little bit about the training they went through and all of that in a little bit. But when you call, you get to talk to a trained volunteer, somebody who is there to listen without judgment. You know, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling sad, if you're curious about something, if you're worried about something, if you're angry about something, any of those issues that you want to discuss, if you're feeling dark, if you're feeling low, or if you just need somebody to talk to because you just need somebody to listen, that's what we're here for. And like I said, those two options exist. Right. For those who want to call into the line or text.
So when people call into it, are there hours of operation?
Yes. So it is not a 24-hour service. Of course, we'd love to get there at some point, but currently the hours of operation are Thursdays to Sundays from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we're really hitting that after school time and before bedtime period for younger people, and throughout the weekends where we know that there's less interaction, they're out of school, you know, and just providing that opportunity to connect with somebody.
Thursdays to Sundays?
Thursdays to Sundays from 3 till 9 p.m.
And then when they do, that's going to be, if they texted in a live chat, if they call, there's somebody there.
Yeah, during those hours, somebody will be available to chat with you.
Okay. Let's pause quickly and take a break. And when we come back, we can share more. And I'm hoping that many of us appreciate that speaking to someone is important.
Yeah,
speaking to someone who actually is genuinely trying to understand and listen, more so.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Erin Coughlin from Alex Panton Foundation, the Cayman Kids Helpline is our topic, so please stay tuned.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
Has the circus come to town? No. It's A.L. Thompson's 2-week blowout sale from March 15 through March 30. Get under the huge tent outside A.L. Thompson's to save big. Save up to 75% on lighting, electrical, plumbing, paint, and hardware. Save up to 75% on housewares, building materials, and the ever-popular scratch and dent appliances. Take advantage of this savings while they last. It's March blowout under the tent at A.L. Thompson's, Georgetown.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. And if she might, Miss Erin Kaufman, I think not only your spouse, your parents, but your friends are, because of you, are better. And I think you make us all proud.
Oh, thank you.
I share that. I recognize that some people think that I'm free-flowing and easy with my compliments. Not by no stretch of the imagination. For some people, you got to dig deep to find something good to say.
Oh.
I don't subscribe to that notion. Maybe I should, but I don't. If you can't find something good to say, don't say it. No. But when we have good to say, when we can give people flowers and accolades that are deserving, that are honest, we should, because it may encourage others. It's back to the concept of the soft skills. I think is an unfortunate term. Mm-hmm. Those are the simple things that our parents raised and instilled in us, those values and virtues, the pleases and thank yous.
Yeah.
That not only open doors, but it contributes to civility, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that to share that as I think about what the Cayman Kids Helpline is. Mm-hmm. Many of us, even in our 50s or 90s, are navigating paths that we're not sure. The 5-year-old, the 15-year-old today are bombarded by much. I can't imagine sometimes what they must be experiencing.
Yeah, I think it kind of, I think everybody understands that we are coming from a culture, generation, that was often taught to keep things inside, to not let anybody know what's going on. And we're making huge shifts and bounds. I mean, mental health is something that is spoken about these days. I think the Alex Panton Foundation has played a huge role in that here locally, in starting and facilitating and sustaining the conversation on mental health, particularly for young people. So for us to have a platform to say that, hey, this is what's available now to support your mental health, to allow you a safe place to talk about it, to have people who care about your mental health that are willing to, number one, listen.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that is what the core of this program is. It's a listening service. So we are I mentioned before that our phone line and text line is run by trained volunteers, and the training that our volunteers have received is called the Samaritan training, and the Samaritan training comes from Befrienders Worldwide. Befrienders Worldwide is a global charity. I'm just going to make sure that I get this properly now.
Very well.
Forgive me.
Trust but verify, right?
Yeah. Well, just okay. So the Befrienders Worldwide is a globally recognized charity, right? It has over 350 emotional support centers across 32 countries, and it is a charity that helps people who are considering suicide or who are experiencing just general emotional distress. So our volunteers will have touched on talking to people who have considered suicide, but generally that's, in those extreme cases. But we also want to ensure that our young people know that this is a service that is available for no matter what you're feeling or thinking. I mentioned before, no problem is too big or small. The Samaritan's training is a listening service. Listening is at the forefront of this service. They are here to listen. They're here to allow you a space to express yourself. They're not there to judge or to force you to make choices or tell you what to do. It's more about guiding you, brainstorming solutions, helping you to come up with those solutions on your own and empowering you to do so. And just sometimes that's what people want and need, just somebody to listen to them and just say, I'm here for you. I'm here to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah. And that's the thing, active listening. If
so
you
important.
are, just in a class and there's a lecture, if you're in a discussion group, whether it's your group of volunteers or a service club or sports, but even as a parent or as siblings, we don't listen always. You know. The person is talking and you're walking away or doing something else.
Yes.
Now, not to make people who do that feel bad, but to make us feel conscious. Hey, wait a second. What are you saying? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Right.
And we engage. That's Martin's training, from what little I know. That would be a great service for all of us in the community to do.
Yeah.
As parents, but as just friends.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just it encourages you to not impose. Sometimes it's so easy to just be like, oh, but if you just went here, your problem would be solved. Or if you just did this, then, why haven't you done this, right? Because to you, it sounds like such an easy solution. And it really encourages you to pause and just meet somebody where they're at. Let them sit and be and give them the space to express themselves.
Right.
And when they're ready, to consider what to do to help them and guide them along the way.
I want you to share the numbers with us, but you just make me feel late. I don't say this unconsciously. I don't say this maliciously. I don't think that's in my ethos. I do not like social media, right? And I do not enjoy watching television anymore for different reasons. Last Monday, I said to a friend, just off air quietly, I said, boy, I wish I didn't have a phone. Sometimes it just, by Friday, as the show finished, I got my wish. I was without a phone all weekend. I couldn't call anybody because I didn't remember half the numbers. If I did, I didn't have a device to do so. No emails, no WhatsApps, nothing, right? Just the basic
disconnected.
Stuff, completely disconnected.
Right.
I contrast that to a time where I consciously did that for a month. I put the device down and I was gone because all that I needed was, before me.
Oh, somehow managed.
Yeah, but I had resources, right? But
right.
It was planned. Here's this thing happening. And the reason why I say that is that allowed me, as much as I try to have empathy and I can relate to the things, all of a sudden this thing has happened. I'm mid-sentence in a conversation. It drops. I was responding to a message, took the call, and the phone drops. And the way I share that is that we sometimes don't appreciate that our young people are bombarded by so much. And as connected as they are, they're still lost.
Right.
Your service, I think, may help us to appreciate that, we think we got it and we think that they have it, but what can we do to help to make sure that they do?
Yeah, and that's why it was important that when we launched our website, when you get a chance to go on to www.kidshelpline.ky, you'll see that there are different categories. So, for example, you'll go in and you can select age 5 to 12, you can select age 12 to 17, you can select parents, educators. So if you're curious on as a parent, for example, how do I support my my teen or my young person, or as an educator, like what are some of the things that I can do to continue to support my students? There are some tips included in that in the content that we've provided. All the content was written and peer reviewed by the Clinical and Education Committee of the Alex Panton Foundation. So we're blessed to have a really dedicated clinical and education committee that is made up of volunteers, volunteer clinicians, volunteer experts or professionals in the fields of human social services, psychology, that help to ensure that APF is is producing its programs and services according to best practice, according to evidence-based programs. So, our content is peer-reviewed in that way. So we're really, really pleased and grateful to have those dedicated volunteers who've contributed to making this program a success. So yeah, I just share that to say that there is something for everybody. It's all about supporting young people, but for young people to be able to feel empowered to get the help and support themselves, but to also encourage the adults around them to support them as well. So we have that available on our website. And then, as I mentioned before, you can download the app. And what's cool with the app is that once you download the app, then you don't need to be connected to Wi-Fi or data to be able to access that content.
So it's for some reason now whether you don't have the data.
Yeah, once you download it, then you can always refer back to some of that those little articles and read through them, even if you're not if you're not connected. And when you are connected, it'll update as needed.
What about I know some providers allow certain services, like in an emergency call, for instance, whether you have your working phone in terms of credit data or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is this something that young person is needing to access?
So a big thank you to Digicel for being able to provide this service toll-free for both prepaid and postpaid customers of Digicel. We are working very diligently on the other providers, but for now, it is a Digicel line, and Digicel prepaid and postpaid customers can access the line for free. And as I said, the other providers are a work in progress.
Well, I hope they come on board. I mean, not trying to make them feel bad, but our young people are bombarded by a lot.
Yeah.
And if you listen to them sometimes, if your heart isn't heavy if you don't feel encouraged, let's put it that way, to do more and do better.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right, Mr. Sterling. There's so much. They face a lot of pressure these days, and a lot of, I know where it's easy for us to say, oh, but they have everything. They have more than we had, and they look at the nice school they're in, or look at all of the technology they have, and we have to just remember that there's pros and cons to these things. They have access and great opportunity that exists with these various things that they have access to, but with that also comes a lot of challenges, a lot of content that they're exposed to that is not always helpful, is not always positive, and
something that
cause them to be very easily influenced.
Indeed. The comedian George Carlin shared, we have maybe perhaps more house but less home.
Yeah.
There's more of this,
right,
but less of the meaningful stuff. Yeah. And this is where we come in. I'm hoping that going forward, we certainly want to publicly, as we had, through some of your team, Miss Emily and others, come on board, talk about your programming. Our young people, they need us. Yeah. And if we listen to them, we'll actually be able to recognize where we're going astray and what's necessary and what's urgent.
Yeah, I think that the next time that we come, what would be great, and I'm sure I'll talk to my colleagues to organize it, is to have some more young people come and talk about it, right? We are really just in the launch phase. This launched only this month, right? We only just went live on March the 8th. Our phone line and text line service, went live on March 8th. Our website launched at our annual symposium in February on the 17th. So we're still very, very new. And we're really, really excited to be able to work on this, continue to develop and build it. We are actually going to be looking for volunteers to be running the text line and phone line service. So if you really feel called to be supporting young people through challenges such as this, and you feel like you have the heart to be able to give back and talk through that, please contact us. We'd be happy to speak with you. But, we're looking forward to then being able to bring some feedback on how it's really going, get some testimonies, share some of the experiences, obviously not respecting people's privacy and all of that, but in terms of the general feedback, like what are some of the things that people are reaching out to us for? How are our volunteers handling it? We'd love to be able to share that feedback.
Well, in closing, just ask, the number, the contact details, remind the listeners.
Absolutely. So I mentioned that the the Kids Helpline, you can find us on www.kidshelpline.ky. You can always contact us at the Alex Panton Foundation because this service is offered by APF, alexpantonfoundation.ky. The phone number for the Kids Helpline, 649-5437. So that's 649-KIDS, which is maybe a bit easier to remember. And through our website, kidshelpline.ky, you'll also find our chat service. So you can just hit the Let's Chat button.
Okay. I'm going to repeat it to you because I wrote it down, but hopefully I can read it. Kidshelpline.ky. 649-5437.
Right.
Or, no, I thought it was APF.ky, but is it the alexpantonfoundation.ky?
alexpantonfoundation.ky.
Okay.
Right. And remember that our app is also available at the Apple Store and Google Play for download. And just to reiterate that this service is open on Thursdays through Sundays from 3 o'clock till 9 o'clock p.m.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to you and your colleagues joining us, if we can help in any way.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me again.
A very safe and enjoyable Easter to you.
Same to you.
All
Looking forward to it.
Please join us after the break. Is he there? Is he there? Is he there yet? He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
A 35-year-old Georgetown man is under arrest, suspected of dangerous driving in Tuesday's crash that put 2 workers in the hospital. Police say initial investigations indicate that the incident occurred when the driver, who was traveling west, lost control of the vehicle on reaching the roundabout, left the road and collided with a pole, striking 2 men who were working in the area. The vehicle came to rest on the eastbound lane. The 2 men were transported to the hospital to receive treatment for their injuries. One man is in stable condition. The other is in critical condition. Good afternoon. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. Haiti is a state out of action. More than 2 weeks after the country's prime minister resigned following a surge of violence in Port-au-Prince, details of a presidential transitional council have still not been revealed. One of the challenges this council will have to face is the illegal trafficking of guns, which has powered the gangs which have taken over. The escalation in violence has sparked an exodus from the capital. And the floating piece of wood that kept Titanic's Rose alive has been sold for $718,750 at auction. Ever since the release of the 1997 film, fans have wondered whether the panel was big enough to fit her love interest Jack as well, saving him from an icy death. The listing noted the prop has caused much debate from fans. The sale was made during an auction of props and costumes owned by restaurant and resort chain Planet Hollywood. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Health Services Authority has over 120 world-class physicians offering the most comprehensive range of specialist services on island. Our dedicated team of professionals provide the highest quality care in orthopedics, interventional radiology, women's health, geriatrics, and a host of other specialist areas. We are a JCI accredited organization with a proven record of excellence. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky.
Born in Watering Place, Cayman-Brac, on the 8th day of July, 1936, Captain Fred Elman Scott was the 5th child born to Nalio and Vera Scott. Not only did Captain Scott work the seas for over 52 years, but he was mathematically inclined. In the early 70s, Captain Scott received his first calculator, eventually moving on to computers. After retiring from sea, Captain Scott used his knowledge of navigation, his love for mathematics, and general knowledge to write various computer programs that would impact the lives of the people of the Cayman Islands, such as payroll calculation and a program that could tell the depths at any point of the Georgetown harbor, which would allow him to give any ship in port the coordinates to drop anchor. However, his pride and joy was his weather program that could detect when a storm formed anywhere in the world and was able to track and forecast its path. To create this program, he first drew the world map by using actual coordinates from the various coastlines around the world, including the most minute codes. This information would be transmitted by his shipping mates from around the world, making him the local reliable source on storm predictions.
Hey Cayman, this is Ilian Powery, your Miss Universe Cayman Islands 2023. Do you want the opportunity to help shape the future of youth and sports in the Cayman Islands? All you have to do is complete the National Youth and Sports Survey found at gov.ky/YSP. This is your chance to make a lasting impact on our community. Have your say today, Cayman, at gov.ky/YSP.
This announcement is brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Heritage.
The Passport Office is advising travelers to check their passports to ensure all is in order for upcoming Easter and summer holiday travels. Travelers should check their passport validity, verify entry requirements for the destination, and apply for or renew passports and visas early. For more information, call 345-649-7678 or email passportandcorporate@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
And welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as promised, the fine gentleman, Mr. Mario D. Rankin, makes his way in the studio. He says, man, if it wasn't for me, he'd be fishing. How are you, man? How are you?
Pretty good, man. Thank you again for the invite, as always.
No, and thank you for accepting. And I've extended it to others who have shared that because of their, the schedule and the like, but some because they as yet aren't as comfortable sitting in this space and having a chat. You have really, been an encouraging voice to many, and through what you share, they've been inspired to at least do likewise. So whether we agree, I think what is important is for us as a people to be able to have the consciousness and the respectfulness to sit. And as Coach Huda would say, come, let us reason.
Yeah.
So thank you, my friend. Thank you. Next time, you need the volume?
No, just
all
checking.
Right. You're hitting it that big and that can fit, man. It's expanding.
No, just one side working and one ain't, so it's kind of off.
Kind of like the government, eh? They're just kidding.
You said that, not me.
Nah, listen, man, listen. Someone else still call me friend, But I want to say that not so much in jest, but in a recognizing that we have to work together.
Definitely.
And as you say that, that's where my mind went, that, we have literally, those of us who still do, we have two hands. It takes two hands to clap, they say, only one to beat your chest. We have two hands, and yet have we ever conscious to try to do something that requires two hands, and for whatever reason, accident, injury, or just deliberateness, use that one hand? And what if that one hand isn't our dominant hand? How effective has it been to do that thing? Eat, comb our hair, wash our face.
Well, the beauty with adapting is that then that hand becomes the dominant hand.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to invite you to lead us in a discussion, prayer too if you want. And I want to maybe toss some things out.
Yeah.
Here is the reasoning. This week, a number of students, as a reference, and thank you for picking up that. I'm sitting and I'm honored that they would invite me sometimes to chat with them. I don't see it as a conscious sort of structured mentoring sort of thing. If anything, I benefit more from their comments.
Right.
But I'm grateful that they're willing to ask. But when I hear things that they say sometimes that I interpret to be a reflection of how they see life, partly because maybe how we as parents and as teachers have presented things, perhaps how they have internalized these things. And for a young person, 8 years or 18 years old, to start to say and share that almost can be interpreted, sometimes is, but can be, interpreted in a way that they seem hopeless. That they seem like, well, what's the point? There's no. That's daunting, man. I mean, that is discouraging.
Yeah, and the thing that is most frustrating about that is that when you speak about the 18-year-olds, we're talking about the local Caymanian 18-year-olds. Now, I know that there's a very thin line between the difference between a local Caymanian or other people who come here and call Cayman home and whatnot. But I bet you if you did a survey, let's say those 18-year-olds that you are speaking about, I guess I could almost make a pretty safe guess that none of those children go to schools like CIS or prep school or the private institutions where a different demographics of people go to. And a lot of times we avoid having the conversation because we always either feel like we are picking a side or we're criticizing something or someone. The reality is that there is a difference. And when you're talking about speaking to an 18-year-old, you can't just say it generally because it's not generally. You're not talking about all 18-year-olds. You're talking about a demographics of 18-year-olds who see things and live in a different environment than some other 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
So what because education, it's almost like medicine, right? We know that some people are not gonna ever be in an environment where they have the best medical care available simply because their spending capacity don't allow it. And it's when we look at the basic essential needs of humanity, healthcare, food, housing, school, and education. These things should be all across the board. Everybody should have the same level of healthcare, the same level of education. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, where you live, that's a different thing because it all depends on what you like and what you don't like and what you can afford and what you can't afford in most cases. But again, when it comes to healthcare and it comes to food and it comes to education, why some people have access to a certain level of education simply because of their spending ability?
You see, I'm so glad that you've not just accepted the invitation, but you allow me to think out loud. And hopefully, as we go into this Easter weekend, whether we're camping or otherwise, but as some of my friends do, I'm thinking, camping, you got a luxury spa. Leave your generator at home, right?
Yeah.
But we'll have these conversations as we did over the Christmas. Can I just expound on and rewind a second, revisit what you just shared about what you said? I can almost guarantee that the children you talk to aren't here and here. They're not in the government schools, you said. Why do you think that? Is that because they're not the Caymanian children or because of the school environment that they're at creates a different sort of mindset, instruction, and encouragement?
Well, most definitely, because we've seen the productivity from the government school versus the private schools. We've seen where the only public school that has really, in my personal opinion, again, that has really pumped out a high percentage of individuals who are on the higher educational threshold, which is the Kim and Brack School.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason for that is because it's not overrun with people. Right? It's a small set of people that go there. So it says a lot about the system that we have here in Grand Cayman, because Catholic school and prep school share a fence with the Cayman Islands government school. So how is it that a child can go to a school that shares a fence? I mean, they're not even in a different world. They're on the same plot of land.
Okay. So if you wish, right?
So
if you wish, because
not to mention government subsidize some of these private schools. So we got more resources. Yeah. We got a bigger school, but yet we're not somehow academically outdoing the private schools. Why that is?
Right. And if I'm incorrect in this, I certainly don't have an issue with being, corrected. My personal view is that education and healthcare are the pillars of a society. without a healthy, educated populace, what's the point of all the diamonds and the gold and the oil and whatever the resources may be, right? We have financial services and tourism or / hospitality that we have said were pillars. I'll come back to in a second when the Caribbean economist Ms. Marlon Lucran shared recently that, to what extent is tourism contributing? Is it this pillar? And I'll reference some of her report. But I say that to ask.
Yeah, I read the report.
Yeah, and maybe we can chat about it. But I say that to ask, to the point, if I go into those private schools and I talk to those children, there's an energy, an enthusiasm, a sense that I think we had. Listen, I can achieve anything, I can be anything, I can go, I can do, I can attain. And when I go to the public schools, right, the fact that I'm hesitant to use the terminology, but that's what we've done increasingly, right? So we've created a divide, we've assigned labels. Here's what I found. If by invitation, I'll get a certain cross-section of the school, in the government schools, the top, suppose the performing students, and then the others. But when I interact, like say through a sport, and I get all the students, what I'm finding, but for the top performing students, a lot of them were discouraged. And a friend or a couple of friends who are educators have shared that unfortunately many of our teachers and our parents are very consciously saying to these same children, you don't have to go to university, you don't have to worry about getting an education after high school. In fact, if you don't get a high school education, big deal. This is today, okay? 2024. This is not 5 years ago. Mario, that is painful to hear. Well, is that really happening?
But let me just play devil's advocate for a second. Right? And I am God-fearing. So.
Very much so, yeah.
Let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
Henry Ford was sued by the New York Times. He was taken to court, right?
Okay.
For some remarks he had made publicly. So some liable statements they claim he made and that he was this type of person. And when he got to court, the lawyer for the New York Times tried to aggravate him so he could come out of his shell to prove their point that this is the type of person he was.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that was asked of him is, how do he run his business with that sort of attitude? He said, well, in my office, there's 10 buttons. And at the end of each button is an expert in an area of my car company. And he said, so if you come into my office and you ask me, how does the wheels work? I look at the buttons, I look at the labels, and I find the wheel guy, and I push that button, I call him up and make him explain to you how that wheel works. And so on and so forth. He said, now, me, I control the ingenuity of the engineering of the engine. So if you want to know something about the engine, you ask me. And he said, the reason why I have 10 buttons in my office with 10 different experts is because I don't want to fill my brain with every aspect of my business, because it will become frustrating and overwhelming and sometimes stress you out to a point where you become counterproductive, knowing all these things as opposed to being an expert in one thing. So he said, you then have to be able to be willing to let people run different areas of your business in order to get the best possible product. Now, education, when you said some of these things are being told to children that you don't have to get an you don't have to get a degree or a diploma, blah, blah, blah. The 5 richest people in the world were high school dropouts.
Yeah.
Now, hold on. Let me answer your question.
Yes, please.
And what we have done traditionally with the conventional learning system is that, you must go to pre-K, you must go to kindergarten, you must go to grade 1 through grade 6, year 18, and then you graduate, and then you, if you're academically inclined and smart enough, you may get a scholarship and go on to get tertiary education in college and come back. You just spent the most valuable part of your entire life, which is your youth, in a learning system. And I speaking about Cayman specifically, to go out and get all of these degrees and diplomas and accolades to come back to Cayman to be marginalized in the workforce.
Yeah.
Right? So is it wrong for a parent to say, listen, instead of going to school for 20 years out of your life, maybe you might want to do something that you're already good at.
Right.
We already identified that you have strengths here. Let us hone those strengths. Let us train you to do that, and let us put you into the system a lot earlier than going off to get a diploma that you'll be marginalized even if you got it or if you don't. So at the end of the day, I can tell you right now, the way the technology has advanced, children are far smarter at a younger age than they were 30, 40 years ago, simply because the accessibility to information is right at your fingertips. And I'm not saying don't go to school and don't get your education. That's not what I'm advocating.
No.
I'm simply saying is that if you're not afforded to go to school or if you don't have the opportunity, doesn't mean that you still can't advance yourself knowledge-wise.
Indeed. And this is what I like with you, because I think as I listen to you, you're reminding us that education and knowledge isn't only the acquisition of some certification or qualification. And I engage those teachers, and one of them shared with me, I forget the name, but there's an emerging school of thought, a suggestion by someone who said, listen, just like what you just alluded to, why are we spending these very, very important early years of our life getting an education as opposed to making that be something that comes at the later years in our life? We get the practical experience, the expertise through doing, hands-on.
Mm-hmm. You know what they do in China? I didn't mean to cut you.
No.
You know how the system works in China? Well, now that they lift the moratorium from 2 children to 3 because they need more bodies to run their factories. But what I would say is this now, and for everybody who's listening, I don't want you all to think that this is how I see things. So I'm just saying what they do in China, for example. So in each household, every child that is in a household in China, and remember now, China is communist. So this is why they do these things. Those children are allocated for different fields and areas in which they'll be working in when they get older. So for instance, the scientist, the engineer, the plumber, the electrician, these kids only go to school for that one thing. Yeah. So when they are groomed from birth to adulthood, they are professionals in that area. So when they go in there, they're a professional mechanic, they're a professional plumber, electrician, scientist, whatever you. Mm-hmm. And when they find those children that are not capable of taking on the task assigned, they then put them into an institution where they recognizes their strengths. They might be a good artist. They might be a good doing other things. And when they identify it, they then harness that for them so they can have maximum capacity of their children being productive in all various areas of their society. So while many people may have seen this, little videos come up, while the Western world is watching TikTok all day,
yeah,
right, and social media and going to the parties and doing all these different things, which is nothing wrong with socializing, but you have one of the highest, most densely populated places in the world, training every one of their citizens to be productive.
Yeah, I might want to pick you up on that. It's like with how you think, you read, you observe, and then you can share, right? Let's take this call first, and then I can answer. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How you doing, my friend?
Excellent, my friend. How are you today?
I am blessed, man. I'm blessed and listening to your co-partner there, your sidekick. And I'm glad he's on today, man. I was happy to know that you brought him on.
I'm glad that he accepted the invitation to come on.
Yeah, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
All right, Mario. Good, man. Good to hear you.
Good.
I was listening to the comments you were making there regarding the schools, and it's so true what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 of the things, I want to make 3 points why the people choose the difference between a government school and a private school. And our lack of problems in the government schools are 3 points that the private schools seems to work out over the government schools. That's why you have a majority choosing that over government. And the first point that I want to lay out is the private schools has access to teachers and administrators. That's the first one. The second one, they shared philosophy. And the third one, they have a chance to have a leg up for the future. And people might stop and say, well, don't all schools have chance or future? We need to stop and recalculate that last one, because we see our children coming out today of the government schools, majority with no future. Mm-hmm. And people can hold me what they want right now and say against me what they want. But I am telling you from the fact of looking in Kim and Brock especially, our kids comes out with no leg up for the future. We have a little one or two that has a little high grade, and they put them off to college, or they give them diplomas and send them off to, and or the rest of them that are barely scraping through with their studies. Yep. That they barely making their little B's or their little D's, they have no future. They throws them aside like they are neglected, and they ain't value nothing because they don't have that top grade of the A's and the A+ for them to get their big scholarships to go off. I mentioned it many times on both shows that you can check and see how much scholarships government gives out for those students that are struggling in school, that are barely coming out to say, all right, they're in the little construction field, they can do some little thing in that, or welding, or whatever the case may be, mechanic. See how much of those kids that government offering scholarships to, and you can count them on your two hands, if not one hand. And this is what is happening with the difference between the government schools and the private schools. They have no leg up for the future of the children in the government schools. And like I said, a lot might disagree. And if people understand what I am saying, they will agree until they come to grips to realize, and their children or their grandchildren graduate, and they up there sitting down and they don't receive that little plaque. Then they'll see how far their children or their grandchildren go. They got beg around, they got look around a little in jobs for the kids. So the government puts no emphasis, nothing out there for those that are lacking, for them to feel like they're accomplished something by going 12 years out of school or whatever the case may be. So that's why I brought those 3 points across.
Yeah, man. And this is something you can pick up on. As we go to the break, anything else you want to share?
No, man, I'm just glad to hear you and Mario. They want to sit down and talk. I'll just watch and listen, man. And look comfortable. But tell Mario to take all your heart, man.
Bye.
You're not coming here.
I need to go to the barber.
Okay. I accept that.
I want to mess with it. Thank you, man. Thanks. See? You're not only listening, but you're watching. All right, as we go to the break, we take the other caller, but you remind me of a novel written in the 30s, Brave New World by Huxley. We talk about this dystopian future where there's these test tubes, and if it's not a book I enjoyed reading, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Anxiety.
Yeah, and the babies are being produced and they're being defined, and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. Kind of like what you were saying about China, right?
Yeah.
The more things change, the more they seem. 100 years later, we're looking at science fiction becoming reality. All right, we'll talk about some more when we come back, Mario.
Yep.
All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old gal.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Shop the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale.
In honor of our seniors, Brand Source Home Gallery is offering a 15% discount now until April 6 on appliances, mattresses, plumbing and bath fixtures, lighting, ceiling fans, kitchen cabinets, custom closets, and more. And I heard right, 15% off store-wide.
If you are over the age of 60, you can purchase for your family and friends. Just show your ID. It's that easy to save 15% with the Brand Source Home Gallery Senior Citizen Sale. Visit Brand Source on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, or call 623-5000 for details.
Kirk Freeport's Easter Bayshore Family Event is back. This Easter Saturday, March 30th, hop down to the Bayshore Mall in Georgetown from 4 to 6 p.m. for sweet treats including popcorn, snow cones, and cotton candy. Don't miss the Easter bunnies, and there's even a kids scavenger hunt with chocolate prizes, plus face painting and musical entertainment. The event is free, and there's free parking behind the mall for parents too. Easter at Bayshore's back. Visit kirkfreeport.com for more information. Happy Easter from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mario Rankin for being our guest. My good friend, we have another caller. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling. Yeah, hello.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, KB. Good to hear from you again today, man. How are you?
Okay. And you?
Oh, excellent, man. I had physio earlier, and man, the shoulder is getting there, man. It's getting there.
You gotta go be in the sea, man.
Thank you for telling me. Everybody is telling me that, and unfortunately, I believe the water's still too cold.
Yeah, you gotta go early in the morning, man.
Yeah.
I read in the newspaper one time, the doctors say salt water heals so many diseases, they can't name all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the cleanest salt water in the world, so don't forget that, Dwayne.
There you go, man. And I got access to it outside the back step, so I'll do that, man. I'll do that.
Yeah, and good afternoon to Mario, too.
Afternoon, bro.
Yeah, well, concerned about education on Cayman Islands, government schools and private schools. I remember Kenneth Jefferson when he was going to sixth form. He used to cross my yard every day with his blue pants on and his white shirt. and he's now the financial secretary. You see, if the teachers put attention to our students the way that they did with Kenneth Jefferson, our students will be the same as he is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. But that investment that the caller references, something that we should be doing to all our students. To your point, China is saying, no, I'm not as knowledgeable about their approach. No, I don't know how much more you can share. And at what age are they looking at their citizens and saying, okay, let's see where this one will go, and how do they decide? So do you know that? I mean, I can check it out.
Well, yeah, what they do is they do these series of tests. So they can identify the strengths.
Right.
And then that's what they harness. But to the caller's point, about sixth form and whatnot, I remember seeing them in the blue and white uniforms too.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I recognized with the government system, even when I was in it, you had some children that were naturally smart. like they got it.
Yeah.
And then you had some that were struggling. The problem is that we showed the children that were naturally smart more attention than those that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
When what we should have been doing was showing more attention to the children that weren't naturally smart, so that we could have harnessed them and made sure that we got them prepared, like the sixth form people who. Now, I'm not saying that that some of the sixth form individuals didn't go through a rough path to get there and did a lot of, studying and paid attention to their books and the teachers and did that. I'm just saying that there are some children that were in school with me, and I'm speaking from my own personal experience, obviously, that were naturally smart, that got it, that didn't have an issue. I know this girl that was in my class that didn't need to study, and aced every paper. Right, that was a naturally smart girl. Now, again, high school had this grade called special aid. The fact that it was called special aid, which means you need special attention, but they didn't get special attention. What they got was locked up in a room and played cards and dominoes all day.
Yeah,
that wasn't the attention they needed. They needed to be put into an environment where their weaknesses were honed into strengths, and it didn't happen. Yeah. So the government school is seen as a conveyor belt. You come in, you do your time, you go out. The academically inclined ones who are naturally smart and the ones who buckle down and made sure and pay attention, these are the ones that are more productive. We've seen it. But we failed them from the beginning because every entry-level test for every grade determined what set you were in and what environment you ended up in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all of the kids that were in set 1 and 2 ended up with the smarter teachers. When I say the smarter teachers, in the system that were honing that, then the people that were in set 4 and 5 and 6, which was special ed, they ended up with teachers who handed out coloring papers.
Yeah.
They didn't get no special attention. You understand? So they didn't advance any. All they did was make up the time that was required to graduate, the 75% or whatever it was, and they got their diploma and they walked out the gate with a diploma, but can't really contribute to the economy in any way that we can say, okay, so why is it that you don't have a grade like a set system in the private schools? I mean, yeah, they have a place where they appoint, but every child gets the same attention.
Yeah,
mostly in all of those. Because my kids went to Catholic school. I can tell you, the minute that their academics had declined, I was on top of that, right? And one of the things is, and I can tell you, there were some huge sacrifices to make sure that they were in the best environment. And I can tell you today, my 2 kids are adults. It paid off. It worked, right? Not only that, being a parent, you need to be involved in your children's lives. You're not going to be there to police them all the way. You just need to be there. They need to see your face. Sometimes just seeing your face is enough,
yeah.
Right? But when you absent, and you absent by choice, that plays a heavy role on children. I don't care what nobody say.
Indeed. All right, we have a caller join us. Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Good afternoon, Lord Sterling.
And to you, man. How are you today?
Oh, not bad. And to the Honorable Mario.
Good afternoon.
I tell you a joke, As a Caymanian, I learned the masonry from my father.
He was excellent, man. Mr. Brown was my daughter speaks highly of him, man.
Mm-hmm. Best
but
block
guess
player.
what now?
Yeah.
Guess what happened now?
Uh-huh.
Now, as a Caymanian now, trying to do the mason work, I couldn't get no work. But if I talk Jamaican, I was more believable.
You have a good point there, Craig.
Hey,
you have a very good point.
You hear what the man saying? And anybody don't know who your daughter was. He was a great block layer like the Mr. Jerry is. Anyway, go ahead, Craig. Talk to us.
But you know something. People know it's all about believing in us. They just don't give us a chance to do what we want to do or what we need to do. I learned that trade. My father taught me that, and we used to put down walls quick, fast, and just making money.
Yeah, man.
I mean, look at so many different areas and employment in Cayman. People just don't believe that. Oh, you don't have the experience. You don't have the experience.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's something wrong. I don't know if you can help us out, please.
Yeah, man. We can, and unlike the mantra of political countries, elections not long ago, where their adage was, help is on the way. Well, we must believe. Craig, thank you. I want to pick up what you shared with Mario in a second, but thank you for calling. All right, Mario. Craig makes a contribution that's not just invaluable, but it's so insightful that I think some of us are, taken aback that, hey, this guy comes from that perspective. I wanted to ask you publicly, I listened to these students recently, and they talked about feeling as if they were guests in their own country. Craig's point is, if he presents a certain way, as he says, smelling like a Jamaican, he get work as in the construction field. Or we hear qualified, experienced Caymanian lawyers share publicly that their law firms tell them that when they're speaking to clients, they can't sound like a Caymanian. Or we have people in the hospitality sector who are told, so am I missing something? Am I connecting the dots incorrectly? Help me, man.
I think because there's not really a national plan, that it's very easy for us to sidestep our roots and who we are. And if somebody in some firm telling you not to sound like who you are and try to pretend to be someone else, and I mean, I unless they're suggesting that your heavy Caymanian accent may confuse the client. So if you talk a little clearer, or I don't know how we would even frame that up, to be honest. But in that case, I could get it. I understand. But what Craig's point was making was a very critical point.
Yeah.
Basically, what he's saying is because that environment is so used to people from the Jamaican background being masons and people who know how to lay blocks, that it would be hard for them, because they don't really see many Caymanians who lay blocks.
Not anymore, right?
Well, let's think of one Caymanian block layer right now. You know any?
No, but we can think of ones in the past.
Well, I know plenty. My uncle Roxford, who's gone, God bless his heart and soul.
Yeah.
I don't find nobody in this world that can could have built better than that man. Yeah. My uncle Gerald, which is my mom and brother, he still do construction. But I'm just saying, that's not a common place for Caymanian. So like Craig said, boy, he had to kind of put on he Jamaican accent in order to get the job.
So flip that coin over, right? So back to those teachers that we're sharing. And this isn't about pointing fingers at anybody. If anything, I want us to point fingers inwardly, right, as a society. So in our school system, if it's alleged, and you were correct in saying that if our public school students are being presented this way and feeling this way compared to the students in the other schools, what's going on, right? I want to read a couple of things from one of our listeners. But to Craig's point, if the perception is this and it's reinforced,
what we should try on exercise within the school system is do a semester swap, right? So you get some kids from public school, let them go to the private school for a semester, and vice versa. Make the private and obviously parents would have to sign up to this just to see the impacts.
Yeah. I go one step further.
So,
because it will be less. I like your example. So let's not move the students. Let's keep them where they are. Let's move the teachers.
No, you're not going to. You see, if you move the teachers, you're going to change the motivation and the incentive.
So you see,
I'm telling you, believe me, you become a product of your environment.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, right? I'm of the view that we as teacher, parent, coach, we influence the dynamic.
Well, my question is this. And please, I want to hear from all of your people who are sending in texts and messages and whatnot. But my question is this: is that what is being taught in the private schools that we can't teach in the public schools?
And how is it? But is it what is being taught, or how is it being taught?
Well, that too. But these are the things. These are the fundamentals that we need to dig into to understand. Why is it that we got more resources in the private school and some we subsidize, but yet we can't seem to get a higher academic result than a private school.
Right.
I don't know.
So as we go to the break, as you referenced that the Catholic school and the prep school share a fence, right? I haven't been there in a long time, right?
Yeah,
in terms of
runs parallel with the government fence.
Right. And then right next door was the fence, right? What was the middle school? Like I said, I haven't been there in a while. The last time I've been there, I found it to be akin to a prison. You had these little fences, these corridors, big hygienic fence with a gate, almost like the system of locks going through a canal, and it was like a prison. Now, that, the searches and the like.
Remember, the smartest child in the Caribbean was taught at home, in Trinidad. So,
yeah, man.
Anyway.
I want to read what one of this listener shared. I want to ask you more about Marius. You know what? You coming here makes it better, man. Tell listeners, take Marius' invitation and call us 949-8037, 949-6990. Be a part of a discussion. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
It's Digicel's 20th birthday bash, and you're invited. We are giving away 20 phones for 20 years. Win an iPhone or a Samsung smartphone as part of our anniversary celebration. Simply spend $20 or more at Digicel, or be an active postpaid customer, and you could be our lucky winner. It's our way of saying thank you for 20 incredible years of connection and support from our amazing customers like you. Don't miss out on this epic celebration. Go to your nearest Digicel store today and join the party. Digicel, better connected.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skin care, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At Valley Med Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin are the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Town. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
In life, the more you have to lose.
The more you love, the more you worry.
The more people rely on you, the more you have on your mind.
I have peace of mind,
knowing that whoever I care about
is protected by the very best.
With Sagicor Life of the Cayman Islands, you'll have critical illness coverage and life insurance to help you protect what matters most. Call 949-8211 for more information.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, speaking of Mario D ranking, is that D for getting done?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Why no? I appreciate it, and something that I'm mindful to share. It seems that we are quick to say it as we repeat the scripture: "To whom much is given, much is required." Right? But we don't acknowledge sometimes that even though we say it, heavy is the head that hangs the crown. That for people who speak publicly, who are called to stand in the gap, who are prepared to champion something, there is a heavy cost. You know, they speak out, they stand up, they call people to account, and they may be applauded privately. But when it comes for others to support them when it matters, they stand alone.
Oh boy, do I know. Trust me.
You have a call, my friend? Nope? Okay. I want to read a couple of things that were said by listeners, right? And then I want to come back to even to what Craig was sharing and ask you to revisit, right?
Yeah. And before we close off today, I would like to talk about what you mentioned to me by text with the energy.
Yeah. Could we do that? Yeah.
Because that's yeah.
Okay. Well, let me read it. Well, we can probably talk about it. This one says the decline in government schools, hold on, I need to put my glasses on to read. But the notion that we're looking at education in society and we are understanding some of the things, from Craig's point earlier, right? I messaged the guy just now and I asked him his permission to relay something. He hasn't responded yet. And that it picks up on what Craig was saying. We have this perception. We hire people to do something based on our perception. We look at people and because of their position, their uniform, there's an expectation that they should be, right? But increasingly, is it that we're not trusting, which is one thing, but we're not verifying the competencies? So if we have employers now hiring people just because traditionally there was a perception that they could perform, that they were good at, but when...
Listen, we have allowed every single institution and every department and these islands to just do whatever they want, whenever they want, create rules along the way. You go immigration one day and ask a question, they tell you something different from they told you the week before. It's just, listen, we don't have any proper structure for anything, right? So whenever something goes bad and something goes wrong and we're being gated out of certain things, we ask the question. And listen, a lot of these things, 99% of them are self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
You know? And no one wants to do anything because it doesn't give them enough political mileage to get reelected. And it's just frustrating.
Yeah, man.
So the next coming election, for all of those people who worked in these high-end jobs and would at the pinnacle of their careers, didn't reach down and bring up no Caymanians, but yet they won't get in politics. I mean, come on, man. We got to stop being tricked by all these smoke screens they're putting out there.
I like how you speak candidly, man.
You know what I mean? And then when you hear about Caymanians and you go, listen, the only people that has done me more harm in my life has been my own Caymanian people. I can tell you that.
Don't flea bite you the hardest.
Let me tell you something. Flea, if it was a flea, it would have been bad. So
at
the end of the day, man, we need to do better as a society. As I said to you on many occasions, I'll pick up the phone and call a Caymanian for a legitimate thing, and they won't answer that phone because they think you're asking them for something, right? And you sit down and you wait for a return call, you never get it. But you see the people who come here and call Cayman home and appreciate that this is way better than where they come from, they network. They pick up the phone and call each other. They answer the phone.
Yeah. They know. Yeah.
They know what clock's striking.
Yeah, man.
It's only us that over here being selfish in our own little silos over here, pretending that we successful, but doing what? You're successful at ostracizing your own people. That's what you're successful at.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's take this call. Welcome. Thanks for sharing.
Afternoon, gentlemen. Afternoon, Sterling. Afternoon, Mario.
How are you, man? How are you today?
Good. I just kind of, I don't really call in these shows and stuff, but I kind of heard Mario and you mention, I was listening and I heard something that basically kind of touched home when the gentleman spoke about his experience with trade, and you had to kind of change your accent and to try to fit into actually, or you got kind of be in that those people's circle in order to get a job. You know what I mean? Because,
Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because I consider myself still a young Caymanian, but I noticed that the gentleman did say that basically you either not qualified, don't have the experience, or you're overqualified. But then if you don't give the Caymanian a chance to even get any experience, like how we gonna, when we gonna gain that experience? That kind of confuses me. And then you have the Caymanians that are actually at a certain post at work, and then you see when they leave, they can't pay you because they can't give you a raise. But then you leave, and then they hire 3 people in your place.
Yep.
And then you go back and say, well, how that makes sense? You're paying these other 3 people now 3 times more than I was getting, but then you're making me do three posts at one time.
Yeah.
Right? And then, like Mario said, it coming like your people, it could be the worst at times. And then because if feel like you got to be on death's door, or like you got to be down and out for a Cayman to help you. You go to them, and it's like the politicians, I feel the same way, or Caymans that own a business. If you fall in a certain family group, no, don't deal with him. They had a run-in with their family years ago. And
that's so true.
Do with you, and you could be totally different. But right away, no, I don't like him. He's from this district. No, don't deal with him because, but then they would let a foreigner come in now and then do them worse. You understand? And then, but it is what it is. I don't know, like Mario said, I don't know when we got to learn and realize that the place slipping away from us. And then when the time comes not to speak, it got to be too late.
Well, I'll share this with you publicly because I really don't care. When Wayne Pannon was removed as premier, I've had ministers say to me that every time they had caucus meetings and anything came up with my name, he made it very clear he wasn't doing anything to help Mario Rankin. And mine, he's a Caymanian that got past my gate every day before he go home.
Yeah, I don't understand. And it gets drawn down to generations upon generations that, oh, well, I went to school with Mario, I went to school with this one, and then, your kid come up now and need a job. No, not who you belong to. Oh, okay. You don't hear nothing back.
No, it's true.
And like my family would say, when you hear them say, oh, who you for? That's not a joke.
That's no joke.
Right. No, right.
They taking note.
Yeah, they're sizing you up that you got either get help or you not get help.
Boy, you 100% right. We think that whole who you for is a pastime of niceness. No. That's a measuring stick.
Yeah, and it's sad because then we the same one that you could probably help to change their life becomes a statistic that drops back on government door now. You gotta give them help. You got to give them some kind of food. Some food stamp system or find them shelter. And I'm like, there's so many opportunities for Caymanians, young and old or whatever. You see Caymanians retiring and they got to go back out and work again because why not? They're stuck with this mortgage and now they got to go back out, they got to ask government for help, or they got to go run tax their tour. And then the people old, they're tired.
Yep. I got another thing I want to share with you because, boy, you're on a roll, and let me tell you something. You couldn't be more correct. When we looked at, I look at Cayman society, and I look at who own and ran businesses, right? And then I saw them exit those businesses. And as opposed to pulling in another Caymanian and say, okay, I ran these businesses for all these years, and they were very good to me. I generated my own personal wealth. I can now retire from doing that. Instead of bringing in or honing or grooming a Caymanian family to take that over so that they can generate their own personal wealth, no. They sell it to their foreign counterparts who invest with them. That's who they give it to.
Yeah, I don't know, fellas. I don't, like I said, I don't normally call, but sometimes as I get older, I just look at the place that I still call home, and I go somewhere and you feel so uneasy because you, like you said, your accent, you're almost like an enemy. When you come in, you act a certain way, you dress a certain way, it's okay. But the minute you say something and they say, "Oh, are you from here?" And automatically it like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I sometimes leave it there. I just
man. I hear your heart, man.
But yeah, I'm not gonna hold the line up.
No, man.
No, man.
It was good talking to you guys.
All right.
No, man. Good
listen,
to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Reach out
All
to
right.
me now sometime. I wouldn't mind having a chat.
Yeah, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, you remember some time ago on this show, maybe last year or year before. Don't even remember.
Yeah.
You're another caller?
No, he's a break, but go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, we can go to the break.
We're back?
Yep.
Don't forget the point, you know.
Yeah, okay.
All right, Mari, don't forget the point. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
We are Radio Cayman, covering Cayman Brac, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman. 1 in a million. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
The Cayman Islands Postal Service advises the public that the General Post Office in Georgetown fumigation procedures planned for the Easter holidays have been postponed due to weather conditions. However, post offices on all 3 islands will observe the public holidays and close for the Easter weekend, inclusive of Saturday. Post offices will reopen with normal business hours on Tuesday, April 2nd. Good afternoon once again. I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines and news elsewhere. A lottery player in New Jersey hit the literal jackpot on Tuesday, becoming the owner of a winning Mega Millions lottery ticket worth $1.1 billion US. The new billionaire had to match the 6 winning numbers, which were 7, 11, 22, 29, 38, plus the Mega Ball 4. Doing so defied astronomical odds. There is a 1 in over 302 million shot at winning the Mega Millions jackpot. It was the 5th largest jackpot in the history of the game. And U.S. streamer Tyler Ninja Belvins has revealed he has been diagnosed with melanoma, a form of skin cancer. Posting on X, the 32-year-old Fortnite gamer, who has 19 million followers on Twitch, said a mole revealed from his foot was found to be cancerous. Ninja said a second dark spot on his foot was also being checked, and though shocked, he was grateful to have hope that the cancer was found early. He is urging others to get regular checkups. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Radio Cayman Talk Today continues.
You got to take up responsibility. Hey, welcome back. And thank you for joining us as we, recognize the importance of a conversation. Paul, thank you for the cue. Hi, as they say. Mario.
Well, yeah.
Will you be, huh? You were sharing before the break.
I wanted to share with the gentleman that had called earlier, and I hope he's still listening.
Yeah.
Some time ago, I'd mentioned on your show, I came up with. I always share ideas and solutions and things how we can work on getting our people out of the financial trenches. I had suggested that when you look around the government's portfolio, there are a lot of annual contracts for various things. You got the airport, you got FADs, you got all these different contracts, lucrative contracts,
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen where certain persons have these contracts for 15, 20, 30 years. And I always said that, if we put better structures in place to say, okay, if these companies and these persons were to run these contracts for 5 years and then hand it over to another group of Caymanians for 5 years and just keep rotating it that way, because government has to spend these monies in any event to get that service, right? So as opposed to letting one person gather up all that wealth, why are we not properly and evenly distributing that wealth throughout the various areas of our society? And the thing is that we don't need to. We can do a selection process of elimination, right? We can say, okay, well, this family has this amount of finances. They've submitted an application. They've filled out the requirements that we need, and we can categorize it in that way. And those people, I know people are going to argue, well, you're going to get less of a service or it's not going to be quality. No. People can be trained there's a period of time where they can understudy the person that is running it now and become prepared to take it over for 5 years and generate their own personal wealth from these government contracts and then hand it off again. They can then have funds to go and invest in other things.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you call growing your society, investing in your people and spreading the wealth, right? And what you may call wealthy,
yeah,
I may not call wealthy. And what you can do with $1 million, I can do with 500,000. So it's all about quality of life and evenly distributing our resources. But we don't do that. We lock everybody into the contract. Oh, you're my friend. You voted for me, your family. Yeah, you donate to my campaign. No problem. You in for 50 years. And then anyway.
But we want to do that with some things, right?
Yeah.
Let's take this call. Wire Rankin is our guest. Hey, thank you for sharing with us.
To the honorables, good afternoon again.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Boy, let me tell you something. Living in the Caymans, sometimes you can say the Caymans. You know. Living in the Caymans is something else.
Yeah, man.
Because now sometimes I can say, buenas tardes, mi amigo.
Wow.
Bienvenido.
Buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
You can get all kind of jobs. You can get all kind of jobs, man.
Boy.
Sí, mi amigo.
Let me hear you, Tagalog.
Right now, if you got to, I'm not saying anything wrong with it, you know, but
yeah.
I got to be like in incognito sometimes.
Yeah. Greg, you were actually
because you can't get nowhere.
Yeah. Your point. Go ahead. Sorry.
If I tell them I'm from Cuba, I say I'm a Cubano. Maybe some doors open for me, and I approve that too. Oh yeah. And then now when I go on the construction site, I tell him I come from Tiwilagard, and I tell him raw born Jamaican talk.
Yeah.
And boy, I get in the work, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, I get that work.
Well, whatever it takes.
Yeah, man.
But talking like a Caymanian, sometimes I can't get nowhere, Bobo.
Yeah.
So I can speak French now.
All right,
no,
Greg.
but that's serious.
No. Listen, no laughing matter, you know. And I'm gonna ask Mario a question that we'll hopefully will extend to other listeners. Anything else, Craig, you want to share before I do that?
Well, I tell you, to be honest, it is something that is, you know, it's like I was thinking about it too. The ratings. I mean, it apparently in certain areas we are rated very lowly. Apparently, it seems so.
The country, I mean?
Yeah, as Caymanians, and we're not believable. I mean, look at music, for example. Look at the hell that musicians get.
Yeah, man.
If we were to pay a very good singer from Cayman and pay a very good singer from another country, it would be a big difference.
Yeah, man.
So what I would have to do now with my music, because you know I do music too.
Right.
I got to talk my talk.
Yeah.
And talk, I tell him I come from Brownstown.
Yeah. Greg, thanks, right?
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right?
I follow you 100%, and I got to take this call and ask for. All right, talk to you in a bit.
Okay.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Hey, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
And to you, General. How are you?
Sir. Afternoon.
I'm doing okay. I'm a bit concerned with some of the things that was just said on your talk show. We as Caymanians, in my opinion, it is bad enough for outsider people to, shall I say, criticize us. But when we start to be critical of our own people and stick a pin, we know that we have some people that is so, the old people say cutthroat or whatever you want to call them, that's fine. But then where will we get in this island if we are going to keep being opposite of because he don't like me. Or, this is not the answer, gentlemen. We have those who like us or those who don't like us. We have to be bigger than that. We have to show them that we are not so thin-skinned. Okay, we have to be more amiable if we can have any unity amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing, when Mr. Rankin said about China, I'm not here to criticize Mr. Rankin. Maybe he's right what he's saying about how they educate the children. But some of the poorest quality merchandise on the market is made in China. Okay, if you want to get good things, you check Vietnam, South Korea, you'll get quality for your money. We'll go to another step now. We're not talking no more about that.
Mm-hmm.
What we should be talking about, and I'm not saying this is the only thing,
Mm-hmm.
if you look and see what's happened on the 7 Mile Beach corridor or the 7 Mile Beach, it's nothing but these high-rise buildings coming up. We are going to be deprived of our own beach by our own people because it's going to get so congested. What some people in the roads authority had said about 2 or 3 years ago, I think she could have been from Canada. I'm sure that's pretty much where she's from. Well, if you can't get to Georgetown through the 7 Mile Beach Road, take the highway. This is what really upsets me, that our people should be bringing this to the forefront in talking about things like this, because we are going to be so deprived of the whole 7 Mile Beach Strip. They're going to push us over and say, take the highway. It's plain to see. And then our authorities, that where they come from planning or where they come from space, I'm sorry. What's going on that these people cannot see and grasp the opportunities to say to these people, no, hang on now. We have our own Cayman generation people, generational from so many years, so many moons back, that they need to have some place into this island. These people are coming in here with the bags of money, passing it around left and center, and some of our own people, I assume, that is grabbing it up and saying, yeah, do what you want to do. It doesn't make any difference. Caymanians are second, third, fourth class people. We should be trying to unify ourselves and get things organized, because we're not going to get anything by saying, well, this one and how it was. Like I heard some of the other talks, she was talking about how Caymanians was with the prejudice. Of course we had it, still got it. But then some of our own people that are not white, they are more prejudiced than the white people. So let's not go there again. We don't need that. I am saying, gentlemen, we need to get on the right train, because right now we are on top of a runaway train. So I hope what I said will be taken in the thought level behind it, that I mean, and not in the wrong attitude, because we are in serious trouble. In another 3, 4, 5 years, forget about 7 Miles Old Road. And then everything, it's too much people coming in the island and nobody's speaking out about it. Nobody can tell the government, say, look, the game is over, you need to stop this rubbish that's going on in our island, man. What's wrong with us? We can get under shade tree or call each other by phone, but we don't have the cojones to get out and say, guys, this is enough. You have to do something about this. We are not going to have proper breathing space into this island. All you can see people coming in here with heavy equipment and construction going on right and left, etc. What about Caymanians? Who looking for us? Never mind the younger generation that's coming up. What they can do, those poor things are not going to be able to do anything. The reason why? The government of the day is seeing the potential that what may be happening, and I assume, again, that they're making preparation for any uprising that might come, that they can put it down. That's not the way to go. We need proper people that represent this island, which, in my opinion, you can count them on one hand, the proper people. Gentlemen, that's all I will say for today. Thank you for listening to me. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
And to you, sir. Anything, Mario, before we take the break?
I just want to clarify something that he said about the whole Chinese thing. I never said that that's what we need to implement in Cayman.
Mm-mm.
I was basically highlighting a structure on how you identify your weakness and your strengths in your society, and how you harness it to make sure that you get the best product. We didn't talk about China make the worst products and the cheapest products in the world. What we need to understand is that China is the largest producer of any product in the world, and the Western world is the largest consumer. So, they wouldn't exist if we weren't consuming their products.
Yeah. And I think the term in education is streaming upon where we take students. So we see it in the British education system. We see it across other jurisdictions as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And in the UK, the children go to school from time they're 3.
Mm-hmm. Whereas the Nordic countries, they take a different approach.
Yeah, they take a different approach. So.
All right. When we come back, I want to maybe talk about what you shared, but also I keep thinking to Craig's call as well as the gentleman just prior when he was saying, he feel like he's a guest in this country. He goes in the place, and if he's displaced. That is something that anyway, join us after the break.
You know, as a little girl, I dreamt of traveling to faraway places and foreign lands. I tell you what though, no more dreaming. I'm going flying with Cayman Airways. How blessed are we in the Cayman Islands to have a very own national airline? Girl, you can fly to so many international destinations without the hassle of connecting flights. On top of Jamaica, Cuba, and Honduras, you got non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, and even Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, and child, they now have Barbados. Going to be a little cafe con leche and Hollywood Squares for this old girl.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering non-stop flights for non-stop adventures in Panama, LA, and many more places in between. For details and to book, call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Every day, thousands of us use our roads.
I drive to work.
My dad drives me to school.
I make deliveries across the island.
But with every journey comes responsibility. Our actions behind the wheel can have serious consequences, so let's make a commitment to safety. The Cayman Islands government invites you to take the Safe Drivers Pledge. The pledge is our opportunity to show our dedication to creating a safer environment on our roads.
Do it for your community.
For your loved ones.
For yourself.
Let's make our roads safer together and say no more for 2024. Visit www.gov.ky/road safety for more information and to take the pledge.
The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library, 10 a.m. through noon. A free storytelling children's event featuring Eric Magician, Sing Along, Miss Izzy. Exciting art and craft, prizes, refreshments, goodie bags. The Rotary Central Spring Storytime, Saturday, April 6th at West Bay Public Library. Children must be accompanied by adults. Rotary, creating hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thanks for joining us, and thanks to Mario Rankin. I had a hope that you would mention earlier that I had a message and asked about it, so we can talk about that. But at some point, again, we'll continue the discussion relative to what Craig shared, as well as the gentleman earlier who said, his accent seems to be a deterrent. That's interesting. We can continue that, or we can talk about the whole use of the small modular reactors that I asked your opinion on.
Well, we can't talk about that because we haven't talked about that all day, and that's a broad
all right.
subject. And I would love to see a nuclear reactor, a small modular one that can generate up to 300 megawatts. That can take care of Cayman. We don't need to be anyway.
But maybe we can put that on the table for
the next conversation.
Yeah, let's do that now.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
I thought we had a caller.
Yeah, we have a caller. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah.
See, Mario can host the show when I go on vacation.
No.
Let's go take this call. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm okay, and good afternoon, Mr. Mario. How are you?
I'm pretty good, Mom. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, I we can always complain, but I shouldn't, because God is a great healer.
Thank God for that. Yes.
I depend on Him helping me with my what they say. Oh, you got old people's cramps and pains and whatnot. But I call to wish both of you and your families a blessed and happy Easter, and we're going to try to keep it as safe as possible. But already I see people, not already because they've been doing it forever, just driving so careless, like it's only them on the road and the road is a racetrack for them. But when, another thing I want to get at is before I say what I call in for, is that today is my husband's birthday, Peter, and I want to wish him many more birthdays and a blessed one. Somebody wished him this morning, and they say, Mr. Peter Smith, but I don't call him Mr. anymore because he was working for Cayman Airways too long. He's been a captain for a long time. And I just want for him to be addressed like every other soul, some not even as long, and some retired, not even as long as he's been there, and all of a sudden, and some have passed away, and they have that title as captain. It's just like a sea captain, only you're on the sea and one is in the air. But anyway, his birthday is today, and I want to wish him a very good birthday. So far, it has been pretty good. And like I said, your family is a blessed Easter.
Thank you.
Coming down just now, we were driving around looking at more cement, and we can soon sink this island because we're sitting down saying nothing about it. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can come in here and put down more and more cement and pushing down breadfruit trees and trees that they don't know nothing about, including mangoes, and we just let it go. But I'm wondering, when are we and when are the younger ones that we're supposing to teach that you got to speak up when you see wrong, when you see things going wrong, because we're going to soon pass this life. At least I am, because I'm older than either one of you. I know that for sure. and they got to learn to have the guts as our older people have had. We should do the same and speak up when they see wrong is wrong. Sometimes it don't go any further than you speaking up and somebody calling you and say, you on that radio again, like they did to me. But I take no notice of that because that's what they should be doing as well, because they are Caymanians like me. So I want to say this. We need to have more people, and in the government as well, that have the guts to put Caymanians first. This is our little island, and if we can't claim it now, what is going to happen to our younger generation? They are following our examples and looking at us every day because they say, and we know this is true, children are like sponges. They suck up and soak up everything. So what I seen just now was a car driving ahead of us, which this is about the third or fourth time I've seen it. So if I seen it, I know the police would have to see it, with their back legs white. Now, when I'm talking about braking lights or parking lights, just the lights, they're going through a tunnel, and they turn on their lights. Excuse me, they turn on their lights. The back lights were white. Still couldn't see that they even had a license plate. Now, when we let go of things like that and think that it's all right, let them believe it is all right, then what example are we setting for our younger people that it's okay not to abide by the law, which I don't think a lot of it. We have laws, as you both know, coming out of our ears, but we do not enforce it. That's the point. Enforcing the law is the point. It was done many, many years ago when I was growing up. We had to have respect for our policemen, respect for our elders, respect for everybody, even people that we did not even know. We had to say aunt or uncle or cousin or whatever. But not these days, and we making all of this. This came on when it came on, and we're making all of this get out of our hands completely, and we're doing nothing about it because it's so little of us now that we're doing nothing about it. But we can if we stick together. But what I found out many years ago now, most Caymanians are against Caymanians.
Well, that will change, Let's bring us together. Anything? Sorry, we are at the end of the program. We're reminded. Anything else you want to share with us, Mom?
No, I know you have to end the program because it's your time. I wanted to say more.
Yes, Mom.
And I wanted to say this morning, but I couldn't get into OC. But I wish radio came on, and like I said, both of you and your families a blessed Easter.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, and just be careful out there.
You do as well, and thanks for the.
I thank you.
You're
thank
welcome.
You very much. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Mario, thank you for your time, and
Yeah, I appreciate coming in here all the time and having open dialogue and talking about the issues and different things, and we don't always have to be political, but it's hard not to. But yeah, and can I just put in a quick plug?
Yes.
I want to encourage everyone to come out on Easter Monday for Jet Around Cayman. Obviously I've been hosting it now for the last 3 years. We got a lot of support this year. I want to send a big shout out to all the ministers, John, Kenneth, Kathy, Andre, Sabrina. You guys were phenomenal. Isaac, thank you for supporting Jet Around. It's a great event for our young people to get back involved in, and they look forward to it every year. It's growing nicely, and big shout out to Automotive Art. They came on as a big sponsor. Rubis, Wayne Cocarno, he helped us tremendously with gas cards. So Healthcare Pharmacy, Health City. It's a growing community. So I just want to encourage people to come out. I'm actually leaving here now to go put some banners up. I was in the process of doing that when I got a text from a good friend saying, come into the show. So, so I would, and be safe for the Easter. And Jet Around Cayman is a phenomenal event. We got international riders coming in. We got, magazines coming in to do the reports. It's going to be a good event down at 7 Mile Beach. The race starts at 10 a.m., so we'll have a stage and DJs and music and refreshments and food. Murphy's Kitchen will be out there selling that Escovitch sandwich, which is the bomb. So don't miss it. Easter Monday.
All right, thank you, man. Thank you. We can talk about that afterwards as well. I want to ask you who you think is going to be the first rider across the line.
Well, we got JJ McLean, who is the reigning champion. He set a record last year. Now, granted, it was smooth, beautiful weather all around. I pray to God that be the same thing. Yeah. It's sizing up to be a pretty good day so far. I'm looking at the forecast, but 51 minutes and 11 seconds is the record. And as I said on some other radio stations, that I'll pay $1,000 to anybody who can break that record.
There you go, man.
CI cash. And
there you go.
First prize is $10,000. It's $25,000 in cash and prizes.
Yeah.
So again, it's a great event. Our youth, our sports. We got to reinvest in our people, Sterling. And these are just some of the small ways we can give back.
Be good fun, man. I mean, JJ has made it work. JJ did something similar. We'll see how it goes, right?
He out there riding a bicycle right now. For all of you guys that think you're gonna run up on JJ, he on a bicycle riding 100 miles. So he preparing.
Yeah, man. He even getting a good night's rest.
Yeah.
Wait till I see him Sunday. All right, thank you. And tell listeners, we got one day tomorrow, so as we invite you to join us, we'll do it. I'll leave it for that for now. I got more to say, but tomorrow's another day. Blessings.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And now, Barbados. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.